Why wouldn't I just go to college to do something I'm interested in to focus on my major? But it really is like there's a critical thinking aspect to it, and there's like basic knowledge for everyone that they do need to know the basics of business math and think.
Hello again, and welcome back to the Few Podcast. I'm Robert Schein with Madison Evans. How you doing, Madison?
I'm good. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This has been a fantastic year. We're in season 2 today, and we're at episode number 5. We're going to talk about Women in Power series for our season 2. We're getting a lot of likes and subscribes, and more importantly, views. So I think we're making a significant impact with the mission that we have a hand before us here. Well, in today's episode, it's a really special edition. We've got people that are near and dear to our hearts. It's my daughters, Taylor, Brooke, and Ashleigh. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. So we're very excited. I'm going to have my daughters introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Taylor Schein. I am 22 years old. I go to Arizona State University and I'm studying marketing.
Hello, my name is Brooke Schein. I am 20 years old and I attend Texas A&M University, and I am majoring in anthropology with a medical anthropology minor.
Hi, I'm Ashleigh Schein. I am a freshman at the University of San Diego and I plan on majoring in communications.
All right, we're going to get right to it, but today's theme is about taking on the world, talking about the next generation of women empowerment. So one of the reasons that I got into creating the mission for the Few Financially Empowered Women, I had that thought in mind with my daughters, starting with my mom, obviously my wife, and all the women that are around me and surrounding me. And that just carrying the torch of this isn't about me. This is about providing a platform of education and empowerment, and hopefully the inspiration for you guys to take it on at any pitch, any step of the way. The sooner the better, especially if you learn about financial education, financial literacy. That's what this is about. And then we're going to bring on women that are in the community, that are around the world, that are super powerful in their own respective worlds. And I want nothing more important for me is for you guys to see something in each one of them that inspires you to do great things in your life, respectively. And we know you will.
Welcome, girls, to the podcast. I know that you're all home from college, so thank you for joining us. This is really exciting. What is it like having all 3 of your girls in college?
You know what? The launch to having them in college, and they're 2 years apart. So for Jenica and I, we went from managed chaos and activities and athletics and just being so involved to, as soon as each one of them went to college in early August, it was a very quiet household. And so we weren't prepared for that as parents. And then launching each one of you, watching you thrive, that kind of like got us out of our sort of gloom and doom. I will tell you, the holidays are very special. We love Thanksgiving, so we hosted Thanksgiving this year. We got our girls back, and then we took some trips over Christmas time, and Christmas time was very special. So we got some great family time, some great stories, even some wonderful card games that lasted well into the hours of the night. And I think I won most of them, if not all of them.
What card games?
Well, we did a lot of, what did we do?
Uno Flip.
Uno.
Oh, that's fun.
But we got Uno Flip. Have you ever played Uno Flip?
I think so, but what's
it's
different
Uno,
about it?
And then in the middle of it, you get a card, and both faces of the cards are live. So you flip over the deck, and then you play the black side or the white side, and that makes the game last a good long time. So
Hours.
that's a great family fun.
Fun.
And it depends on who you sit next to, because they could either do you dirty or be your best friend. And so we had a lot of teaming up and ganging up on each other. And then each night we would respectively change our positioning, because it just want to get back at the person from the game before.
Love it. Who's the best?
Oh, me, for sure. I've won.
All right. Well, Ashleigh thinks she's the best, so we're going to have to do it again. Oh, mom's in the corner over there, and she said that she won according to her tally, but we're going to have to do a recount on that, and we'll do a vote at the end of this and see what's what on that one.
I recently graduated from college about a year and a half ago now, and I learned so much. So I'm sure that all 3 of you girls have learned a lot, but what has your experience been so far?
Well, I would definitely have to say, from being the oldest and the first one leaving the house and the oldest on all sides of my family and cousins and everything, I didn't really have anybody to look up to and seek guidance as to what I should do and what not. So it was definitely very hard, very stressful.
I'm sure.
Started out at University of San Francisco, changed my sophomore year. Now I'm at Arizona State University. My dad loves that. And I'm absolutely loving it.
Good.
It's been an amazing experience.
That's great.
You are talking to two wildcats.
I know.
I'm
So
a
tread
wildcat
lightly.
too.
For me, it was honestly, it's always a big major change as far as your lifestyle goes, because you have like a sense of like freedom, which I feel like our parents gave us a lot of grace when we were home. So it wasn't that big of a difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
But my freshman year was fantastic, picture perfect, anything I could ask for. And then my sophomore year, this is now going into my second semester. My first semester, it proved to be a little bit more difficult, but I mean, that just comes with how life goes. So I'm just glad that I'm having the opportunity so far to experience both sides of the coin, where I now know I'm capable to handle the ups and downs. So it's been a really good life lesson so far.
That's awesome.
For me, the transition has been fairly easy going to a private college, University of San Diego, because it is a private college and it's a lot similar to my high school at Xavier, with the class sizes and just the way they run the school religiously. And like, it was also really easy going in because of my team. I run cross country and track for the school, and that was immediate like family and friends that came right as soon as I joined.
Ashleigh, what's your favorite part about living in San Diego?
The beach, for sure. I think that's a majority of why the people go to the school. I love I could spend hours there and sleep there overnight and live there.
Every time we called you, you were at the beach.
Yep.
And we knew your class schedule. So we called you during class time.
I did skip a few classes for the beach. I'll admit, yeah.
That wouldn't be the first
No
time.
shame.
Awesome. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we, the follow-up on the question is, how is it now? We love the chaos at home when you girls come home. We love how loud it is. And then we're going to get sad again. And then we're going to look forward to the next time we all get together as a family. So it's sort of that highs and lows of a family and the next chapter of your life, the next chapter of our lives together as a family. And so part of this today is to talk about the next chapter, where we are today, talk about a little bit of finance education, where I have, and mom, but, both of us have hit or missed in lights and shadows, right? We're all about financial education, financial literacy, but I'm not immune to the fact that you don't want to look towards me or listen to me to talk ad nauseum about what you should be doing or what you should be learning. And even if we give you that Aesop's fable, or I give you that life lesson of financial education, I'm going with the odds. I know that maybe one of the three of you is listening to me at that time. And more importantly, I'm putting you in this chair right now because for the next 2 to 3 hours, we're going to talk about all of the lessons that I haven't had the opportunity to talk about with you, but I'm pretty certain over the next 3 hours, we're going to hit that today. So I'm happy you guys are here and you guys are locked in. So let's go. You're on the roller coaster.
3 hours?
Door's locked.
All right, here we go. So we're going to start off with a little game and a quiz. And so before you have each name of each sibling here. And I'm going to ask, basically it's a quiz game. Okay. You've seen this on Big Brother. Who's the biggest Big Brother fan here? Let's start
Me,
there.
for sure.
Well,
I'll be on the show.
Why don't we do it with the cards here?
Oh, right.
This is role play. This is an easy question. And there we go. That's how the game is played. All right. So let's start here. Number 1. Who is most likely to use the family Amazon account without asking?
Ooh.
Easy.
And that's the answer I had when I wrote down the question.
That's
So
hilarious.
We're 1 for 1. That's for sure. Number 2, who spent the most on gifts for the family this past Christmas? That goes with question number 1. All right. You guys are
Shout out
doing
Amazon.
Yeah, well, hopefully they should be a sponsor of this podcast. if not, we are as the Schein family, that's for sure. Okay, number 3, who is the most likely to have created a monthly budget while in college and stick to it?
Yep.
There you go. Very good. You guys know each other very well. Number 4, whose investment account did the best in 2024? Well played. Well played.
Oh.
All right. So who knows? This is not a quiz, but who knows what they own and why they own it.
I think we talked about this, actually. I know that some of us own Lululemon, Nike, Amazon.
I'm impressed.
I'm not
There's
sure.
one that is a big 3 that I think, or is that what it's called? Where you said that all of us, or at least Jack did, have some of it.
It was NVIDIA. It's
Yes.
AI Play. Ashley, you were going to say something?
I don't know.
All right. Well, at least you have investment accounts, and it's okay not to know what you own right now, but maybe this will be inspiring for you. I know we had these conversations over Christmas as well, and that's when you guys perked up. I started talking about the returns each of you earned this year, and now you guys are interested a little bit more and more. So that'll hopefully ignite that fire within, just to continue to save. So that's good.
It was me, right?
No, it was me. I asked the question and it led to a 45-minute conversation.
What? Was it really?
Actually, Jack did the best.
Oh, well, he doesn't. No, he's not on a cart.
Well, I'm just telling you out of the investment accounts. Okay. But you guys were very similar, and you guys basically doubled the market, and the market did very well last year. So far, so good. Good job, girls. All right, let's get back on track here. Number 5, who has dad's credit card and conveniently always forgets to return it to him?
It's a toss-up.
I don't have an excuse. Just have it.
Yeah, well, we needed it over our vacation period in time. I'm trying to check into Alaskan Airlines, and what happened? And Alaskan asked for the credit card so I don't have to pay for the bags, because I get the credit card so I don't have to pay for the bags. And I'm at the counter and I'm looking at my wallet. Obviously the Alaskan card's gone. And then Jenica says to me, oh, by the way, Ashleigh has it. So we run you down. I'm at the counter. And the news I get from you is, where's my credit card?
Well, I was just as confused as you were. I thought it was in my wallet, but it was in the console of my car.
Interesting.
At home.
Is that a good spot to keep a credit card?
No.
Okay. Did we learn a lesson there?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't.
Do you have my credit card for me right now?
No, it's still in my car.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. I appreciate that. So we're going to have to make a note of that. We're going to have to get that one back here. Let's see. Let's continue here. Number 6. Who has had the most jobs to date, either paid or volunteered?
I'm going to say Taylor.
I might say me.
I think it was Brooke.
I think it was me.
The most jobs?
Yeah. Like she does a lot of jobs too, like babysitting and
Oh, I dabble
And-
in babysitting.
Just around there. I've babysat.
volunteering at Xavier Camp.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
Yes. Yeah, actually, that is true. I have worked a number of jobs, by the way.
Yeah, let's not pretend we didn't go to the same high school.
They weren't-
I volunteered.
Okay.
I had a coaching job. I worked for the Diamondbacks. And I also did babysitting. So everything she did,
You actually
I did
worked here.
addition.
You
And I
intern
worked here.
I
So she
also
might
did
take the
that
cake
for a
right
little
now.
bit. Yep.
Okay.
I said
Winner.
Taylor initially, but then I said Brooke. So
All right.
I guess my answer works
Are
for
we going to
both.
let Ashleigh off the hook because she's still a student athlete?
Yeah, that takes up all my time. I have no time.
All right.
Except for
That's
to go to
fair.
the beach.
Except to go to the beach, yeah. Same
Oh,
time
we
for
just
that.
determined she has time for a job. Did we not?
Well, I do
Yes.
a little babysitting too
Okay. Well, that's good.
on my very slim free time
All
that
right.
I have. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we'll let that one lie right now. Number 7, who's most likely to ask dad for financial advice or education?
Oh, actually, no. I agree with Taylor's answer.
Okay.
But
Very good.
I find myself to be very curious. So I do find myself talking with you about a lot of those things. Like last night, we were talking about insurance a lot. But I think as of right now, where we are in life, it's probably Taylor going to be asking.
Well, you know that you have all of us, Mom, myself, Madison, and everyone in our network. You know, one of the 7 keys of financial wellness as we grow is to not only use your immediate family, but that family of support. Like, you know, we have a great friend of ours who runs a talent management company, and you're going to talk to her later today about next steps in the future. We'll get into that. And then Brooke very specifically talked about what she learned about insurance. And Madison, do me a favor, ask Brooke who taught her about insurance and where'd she learn that very valuable lesson.
Okay, Brooke, I heard that you've learned recently about insurance. Where did you learn so much about insurance?
So, for reference, I go to college at Texas A&M University.
Yeah.
And getting there is an entire full day travel day. So over this past summer, going to college this semester, we decided that it would be best that I fly into Houston. So if you don't know, Houston from College Station is about an hour and a half drive. And I was there alone, so I had to get an Uber driver. I didn't have a friend pick me up. So I get in the car and I'm trying to break the awkward silence because I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the next hour and a half. I think it's awkward to sit like that. But I asked her what she does, where she's from. Obviously, she does Uber on the side, but she was an insurance agent. So I spent the next hour and a half talking to her about insurance. And I was like, well, tell me all like the secrets. Like, what do you know? What should I know? That kind of thing. So she gave me some fun scoops, some little fun facts. It was really interesting to learn.
So
That's
last
awesome.
night we had a conversation at the kitchen table about Brooke teaching the family about insurance from her Uber driver.
Yes. It was
fairly accurate. You actually
passed the
did
time.
You did learn a lot, and I'm glad you engaged and you proactively, got something from that conversation. And yeah, we fact checked you last night, and you did learn the most.
At least one of the things I said was correct. So I was like, I may be leading them astray on some things, but as
It was
far
good.
as my memory
I was impressed.
jogged.
But
Thank
so
you.
that just goes to show you can get your education from anywhere.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. We hope you tune into the Few for your financial education. But if you're in the back of an Uber and you're, want to break the uncomfortable silence, definitely go into the world of finance.
Absolutely. So the fun facts that I found most useful was that life insurance for men is far more expensive because men do dumb and they are more likely to die from doing that stuff, whereas women have a lot more issues with their bodies. They give birth. They're more prone to disease and other things and health issues. So their health insurance is a lot more expensive than men.
The insurance industry's got it dialed in. They kind of know who does what and sort of how to tip the scale. And it's all about pricing and actuarial table and make certain that those that do stupid will be paying more for their life insurance, and those on the health insurance side will be paying more. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so you did learn something. So I'm proud of you.
I did.
This episode is brought to you by Ashleigh Schein Wealth Management, serving the Coachella Valley for the first 40 years and built for the next 40 years. And for more information about Ashleigh Schein, it's AshleighScheinWealthManagement.com.
Taylor, I know that you're a senior in college, so you're getting ready to enter the workforce. How has it been looking for jobs?
Quite honestly, very stressful. I've had this conversation with my father before, just talking about how obviously policies and things have changed with laws and whatnot, but coming out of college at this moment, going into just basic employment, people are seeking internships or people as in interns for, I guess, after college. So you have to be a college graduate for an internship to work at their office.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's been very stressful to try to find some sort of like stability for after college. It's very hard when you have an opportunity to work at some place, but then you can make 3 times the amount working at In-N-Out, never going anywhere. So being able to actually afford your life while doing something that you can actually grow in that workforce is extremely challenging to come across. I've come to find out. We're working on it, talking to some people, but yeah, at this point, it's not my most fun thing to do, but it'll get there.
Mm-hmm. I went through it a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I completely relate. I thought it was going to be easy. People always you assume that you get out of college and then you can get a job, but it's not easy, and it wasn't easy for most of my friends either. I remember our whole business school had to go to the seminar one day, and they had some postgraduates, some people that had graduated like a year prior, and they were talking about their experiences, and they were talking about how they had to apply to literally hundreds of jobs. And I remember thinking, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, that's not going to happen to me. And when my friends and I started applying to jobs, like, that's real life. It's insane.
It's crazy. I didn't expect it, but yeah, it's awesome.
But you got it.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
I think it's important here, though, for Taylor to understand that obviously mom and dad are here to guide her. You've got a network of support, but you got to tap into that network. I mean, there's friends and family who know of other people. What's most important is that people know the quality of individuals who you are, how you were raised. And there's somebody in this world that's always looking for somebody as, valuable and smart, intelligent, articulate, and that could actually do the job. And more importantly, dependable. I mean, 90% of this world's not dependable. If you don't even show up, we don't even want you. Like, that's half the key in life. So those people in that network, just start sharing, within and getting the word out, because we will open up doors. I've got 3 intern calls tomorrow, and those are friends of a friend, of family friends, and they're looking for the summer. And, they're just, who do you know and who can open up a door? And because of a friend's going to reach out to me and say, hey, listen, this is, I'm a great friend of this person. This is a grandson that's graduating. Will you take his call? And I've found some great success just from that. And I'm going to continue on that path. And I'm happy to take the call because I'm also happy to give back because I know what it was like to be in that position. And it's not easy. Every transition from high school to college to real life. But you get through it every step of the way, but you don't have to do it alone. But being proactively proactive is what I always talk about. It gives you a significant head start. So that's where we want everyone to be.
Definitely. And I'll say that the people that I graduated with that had the easiest time getting a job, I feel like the thing that made the biggest difference is they were super involved with clubs. And when I was in college, I was in a couple clubs, but not like the biggest clubs on campus. And I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. I thought it's a great thing to add to your resume, but like outside of that, it's not that big of a deal. But some of the clubs at least at University of Arizona, I'm sure it's the same at most schools, you meet so many people and they have speakers come in all the time from different companies and they're going to clubs to look for people to hire. Like there's job fairs and stuff, and there's just so many people at all those job fairs that recruiters don't really get to know people very well. But recruiters spend so much time going to clubs on schools to look for people to hire.
That's what happened with me. So at University of Arizona, I got involved in the American Marketing Association. I was finance and marketing and just kept showing up to the Marketing Association every Tuesday night. We, on-campus club. I enjoyed it. They always brought in guest speakers within the local community talking about their, industry and walk of life and how they got there and what their day-to-day is like. So it's kind of like a picture preview of like, okay, this week I like that speaker, next week. And then you can follow up with them and interact. But to your point, Madison, that's where the president's office of the University of Arizona was picking off finance and marketing interns. Mm-hmm. And, after my freshman year, second semester, I literally got a job working for the president of the University of Arizona. Mm-hmm. And from that, and my boss, who specifically said I would go to that club, I would make certain that who's the most, dependable person in that arena. And then she would literally have me come in and I would interview. And fast forward, not only was it an amazing experience for me to work for the president, I was literally outside his door, his executive suite, between my office and his office. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, it's a public university. Okay. So they didn't have much money. Mm-hmm. So guess what my office was? It was a converted toilet. He had a private executive suite.
What?
And he said, I don't need it. There was budget concerns and I was in a cubicle in the corner and they had to rearrange. They needed that space. So he said, you know what? I don't need a private executive washroom. I can use the public washroom. Mm-hmm. And I literally, within weeks, was sitting in a converted bathroom that was on the off suite of the president university. And I will tell you this, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, because that washroom door was so paper thin, because it was his private suite, that I got to hear every conversation, and I got to understand what executive leadership was, what an amazing individual he was, how he handled himself in grace. So my ear was to the door, but I would tell you, I didn't get paid for that internship, but it was a lifelong lesson, and it was through the American Marketing Association. It was for me saying yes, putting myself out there, getting in the right spot, and fast forward. So now I graduated, I get in the world of finance, and later on, the executive that hired me, she's now a lifelong client. So now she became a client, and I look after her for her retirement and all the world that's important to her. So it was kind of a wonderful sort of payback, but it was putting yourself out there, going to the community, going to the clubs out there on campus, because those people know, hey, who do I want to pick to basically be on campus or be off campus, and who's most dependable, to make certain that, that's somebody I want in my future business.
Yeah, definitely. And Brooke and Ashleigh, do you know at all what you want to do when you graduate, or what are you girls majoring in?
So right now I am an anthropology major. I just picked up a medical anthropology minor, which I don't actually remember if I told you guys that, but I did. I spoke to my advisor and I did pick up a medical anthropology minor. And I'm currently pre-med right now, so I still have a ways to go with my schooling. And as far as I know, I'd love to become a surgeon, but I know as you go through medical school, so many more doors open and you get to experience so many different career paths in medicine. So I can't say I'm fully sure of what I am going to be, but I would love to become a surgeon of some sort. So that's the path I'm on currently. But
that's great.
Well, I've had many discussions with my mom about this, and when she asked me a lot of the same questions as well, as like what I wanted to do when I grow up. And I would always say, Mom, I just want to be a mom. Like, I just want to grow up and go to college for my MRS degree. That's what my mom and I call it. So then I got to college and I realized, oh gosh, these boys are not what I thought they would be. So I was like, we're going to have to switch this up. We need a plan B. So I've always been super involved in sports. I still am involved in sports with cross country and track. But I've also been interested a lot in football and basketball and all the other sports. So I find a big interest in sports broadcasting, and I think that'd be a cool journey and career path for me. But the way USD works is like everyone comes in as a freshman and we all come in undeclared until like we have until like our second semester's sophomore year to decide what we want to do. So I think going into something around sports for sure would be my choice.
Awesome.
Awesome, ladies. We love hearing about the future, and it's definitely unknown, but that's part of the adventure. So just enjoy your stage of life right now, because you're going to look back and be like, oh, that was the best stage. And so it's going to continue to get better and better for you.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember what you wanted to be when you were little? Like when your parents would ask you when you were little, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you remember what you'd say?
I definitely immediately thought I'd be in the World Cup. I loved soccer. I was like, I'm going to be in the World Cup. We visited actually 2015, I think, to Canada. We saw the World Cup women's win against Japan, I believe. And that was like my starstruck. Like I was like, I'm going to do this when I grow up. And it kind of switched. I got into running and that's where I am now.
You also wanted to be in the NFL.
Yeah, I did. I played flag football for a little bit, and then my parents told me that girls don't go to the NFL. And I said, well, we're going to have to find another option, but I cried.
That's funny.
Ooh, I actually don't remember, but I've always been sort of like a people pleaser, almost like my mom calls me her mini me. Like I've always been like, I feel like that I tend to others very well. So I feel like doctor was kind of always in my cards. I don't know that I necessarily wanted to be anything. I can't remember, honestly, but I know who I've always been has been kind of like a people pleaser in that sense. So I feel that this career path is very fitting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had like a specific type of job. However, growing up, I always knew that I needed to be involved in some form of the fashion industry, whether that was living in New York or for Paris and their fashion weeks, but just working with Vogue. That is very, very hard to accomplish. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, that has always been a passion of mine and my dream
Do you
job.
want to live in New York still?
I'm not sure. I'm at the stage in my life where if I find a job that fits me, I will go wherever. And if that just so happens to be the case, then yes. But yeah, honestly, wherever my passion is and that'll take me, that's where I want to go.
Gotcha.
None of them said real estate or financial services.
No.
Oh my gosh. I'll just say this right now. I remember growing up and like listening to what you were doing. This isn't going where you think it is. I genuinely said, if I can do anything other than that, I will be perfectly fine. Just because, I don't know, as a kid, like I always heard like the big words and everything. And I was always so happy to hear what you were doing. But I was like, also me as a person, I don't think I could ever do a desk job. I thrive under pressure. I feel where like I just need to be running around doing stuff all the time. So I feel that would be better for me. But I was like anything but business growing up. I can't do numbers. Don't ask me to do numbers.
Yeah.
He like has a calculator in his head. He's insane with that. But that's something that I never adapted growing up. So,
well, you guys also, and you've heard me say this, and this is very important in the world, whether your career path is finance, whether it's anything else, medical, you need to, if you want to tip the scales and level the gender pay gap, okay, statistically, it's better for women to study science and math. Those are the two careers where right out of college, it's gender blind in terms of pay. Okay. So whether you're going to go in those fields or not, it's important for you to lean into math, lean into the sciences, whether in business, lean into that sort of aspect of, I know you don't have a calculator in your head, you will someday, but take those courses that help you, whether it's financial literacy, education, or even just math. Math levels the playing field in the gender pay gap. So it's very important for everyone. The world doesn't understand this. They always look at, oh, you're coming out of college and the male gets paid for this and the women gets paid for that. And everyone's all upset, but no one takes a step back and says, wait a minute, why is that? And mathematically, statistically, and the way the world works, that's how you can level the pay gap in the world of finance. Same thing's true. Math and science are number one and number two as it relates to, if you just want to come out of college and get paid what you're worth, regardless of your gender, you basically lean into math.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I went into college being like, why do I have to take this stupid business math course? I hate math. I suck at math. This is the worst. And I passed those classes, thank God. But I always thought, this is useless. Why wouldn't I just go to college to do something I'm interested in, to focus on my major? But it really is like there's a critical thinking aspect to it. And there's like basic knowledge for everyone that they do need to know the basics of business math and things like that. So at the end of the day, it was useful. Did I enjoy it? Not necessarily. But looking back on it now, I do see how it is important for everyone to know for sure.
Well, think of it this way. As you grow in your career, as you put money in savings, you're not going to keep your money in the bank. Okay. So either you're going to outsource it and have somebody do investing for you, or you're going to take an active role in how your money is invested. Who are you going to partner with to invest your money? Because you're going to want to know what you own, why you own it, and what it's supposed to do for you. You want your money to work as hard as you work. And the quicker and faster you start saving in life, the sooner you start putting it away at a monthly basis. Then you're going to start gathering all of the art of compounding. And if you get compounding, you'll be quicker and faster. You'll be a millionaire before you know it. Every single one of us in this room, you girls specifically, have the ability to be a millionaire. And the quicker you embrace that, start taking these courses, the faster you'll get there. So, okay, I'm going to ask, what's your definition of a monthly budget? Who can give me that?
Okay, I guess I'll do it.
Crickets.
I feel like I've been talking so much. So I was like, but for me, as far as it goes, I start with a monthly budget of what my parents put in my account, and I go from there. Living in Texas, it's a little bit easier for me. I would say that I have a slight edge because things are a lot cheaper in Texas as far as gas, groceries, daily life things that you need. So as far as groceries, I'll spend probably $100 for a week and a half, 2 weeks of groceries. And then what do I spend the rest on? Probably I save a lot for eating out. I go with my friends and we eat out at least once or twice a week. Yeah. I pretty much, and then the rest of that I like pocket for fun money, which gives me a lot of wiggle room to like, maybe I'll spend up to like $150. Sometimes I get really hungry, so $200 in grocery money. But other than that, I will say that as far as groceries and then eating out goes, it basically all goes towards food. But the extra
food and entertainment,
of course.
Okay.
But
you gotta go to those football games.
Oh yeah, the football games. Oh my gosh, $7 for a hot dog.
That's actually really cheap.
And I'll gladly pay it because you're always partying before. But what I will say is I do pocket the fun money, and it really comes in handy when I want like a new vanity mirror or like a bathing suit for our spring break trip, or saving up for the fun money for the spring break trip. It really helps. So that's what I do.
You know, not to say that I am deprived in any way. I am very fortunate. However, this past year, I have been living in a house with 3 other girls, and learning that it's not the same in any way as living in an apartment expense-wise has been a very big eye-opener for me. It's not just you pay once monthly to, you know, your apartment complex. You have to worry about paying for water, electricity, gardening. Then you also have to pay for the trash. So being able to fit all of those little things into our budget has been very different. And I will say it's been very hard to try to budget that in with the Arizona, California prices. But yeah, I manage, and my parents are amazingly helpful in that matter. But yeah, so it's definitely very different being able to factor all of that into a budget that my parents give me when they give me money for my I guess rent, and then also money for living and extra spending.
All right, Ashleigh, what's your definition of a budget, or how do you budget, or do you even know what the word is?
No, I don't know what the word is. But so I'm on a little bit of a different page. Like, I'm living on campus in a dorm, and I have the dining hall right 10 steps away. So it's a little different. I'm not really off campus as much using the card, but when I am, I'm using it. And it's definitely like a hard decision for me, because you're walking down the boardwalk and it's sunset, and you're like, well, I could get the dining hall food that I paid for when I go to the school and like how much it pays, but you could also sit on a nice restaurant right on the sidewalk or the boardwalk, and it's sunset, and you could eat a burger and watch the sunset. So I kind of...
Very different, because you're on a student athlete meal plan.
Yes.
Right. So you have that food paid for, or they're paying you basically as part of, you know, your contribution as a student athlete. So there is a monthly stipend that you do receive, and that's part of, you know, sort of your covered package with them. But then you also opt out for the, you know, sunsets on the beach. Okay, now we know.
Yep. But I mean, it's where we are, so I got to do it.
All right. Well, we got freshman to sophomore to senior, so there's a lot to learn here.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you guys have it together pretty well.
We pretend.
All right, girls. So we got another question for you. So in our previous few episodes back, we had a very accomplished, wonderful role model. She's a dynamo in the community, and she's a very well accomplished attorney, Valerie Powers Smith. And she sat right there and shared a story about how she was growing up in a male dominated world, but she had that gender blindness because that's how her parents, her dad raised her to go out there on the soccer field or go out there in the world. She became an attorney, and she became a very successful attorney in a male dominated world. Are you guys coming up against a lot of the gender sort of pushback of where you guys want to go, where you want to be, or even in your sort of local day-to-days?
I'll start. I feel like going into the medical field, as far as the higher up positions like surgeons and everything, it's more male dominated. And the further down you go, it becomes more female saturated, where nurses are more likely to be female and everything like that. So I definitely have talked to people about what I want to do. And I'm like, I would love to become a surgeon. And their response is always, well, have you considered PA school or nursing school? It's a lot less of schooling and you'd make a lot of money. And I'm like, why would I stop there if I'm going to be doing the school anyways? Why would I, for me personally, aim for less when this is what I want to be? Their response was always, well, have you considered nursing school? What about a physician's assistant? What about all these other options that you could be that are more female dominated in the medical field? So I feel like that happens to be
How does that make you feel?
Well, it just confuses me. It doesn't like hurt my feelings or like get me upset, but it just confuses me because I'm like, why would I put all that money into my education and do all that work and go that far if you're not just going to put in what's 2 more years after 7, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why would I give up now when I'm already there, kind of thing, where I feel that I could be, if I can be more successful, why wouldn't I? So it doesn't offend me, but I just am confused as to why that would be an alternative or an option that they would propose to me when that is my initial, this is what I would like to be. It makes it feel like I'm shooting for the stars when really for any other possibly man would be like, wow, good for you. I feel like there would be no pushback on that.
Well, that's definitely a proud mom and dad moment. Very well said.
I guess for me, it's obviously going to be in the sports aspect of it, but it's just a little bit, I just see a little tiny differences here and there within like our men's football team or our men's basketball team versus the women's teams on campus. And it goes as far as, I mean, even advertising for our like games and promoting our games and our races and whatnot. For the men's basketball, I mean, and men's soccer is huge at our school too, and their advertising is everywhere, flyers all around school and everything. And when you look over at the women's promoting for games and our cross country team, for example, we'll have our race and no promotion beforehand. And then they'll finally send out, hey guys, it's race day after our race is completed. So, I mean,
wow.
there's no one, I mean, they don't even like, promote until after the race is finished. So that's just an example right there. But I mean, I'll be walking into practice and there'll be full catered breakfast for the football team. And we have to walk right past it while they get their Einstein bagels every morning. And
you love bagels.
Yes, I love bagels, and especially Einstein bagels. And it just breaks my heart every day because I'm just like, oh, but I mean, we're working just as hard as they are. And there's just little tiny things that they get and we don't receive. And I mean, even as far as like locker rooms and whatnot, there's just tiny instances here and there.
So there still is today, even today's world, every day. It's right in front of your face from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep and the conversations that you have. That's heartbreaking. It's sad, especially with my daughters.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say, obviously, my freshman year of college, I played at the University of San Francisco for volleyball. So I've faced the exact same thing that you're going through currently. But as I get older, the shocking thing that I've come to find is that it's more of the females that are the face of the males, stopping younger women from going after what they want and, you know, not necessarily picking them for whatever reasons they have, but it's honestly, I've personally had more female restrictive aspects to
Like gatekeepers
absolutely,
or see you as a threat. Because as soon as you get in that organization, I mean, you just recently got passed up for a job where that potentially could have been the case, where that person that was interviewing you, she was worried that you would take her job. We've had that
possibly,
conversation.
but I had, you know, in the same company, I had my past supervisor, my manager. He was all for it. He was absolutely so excited. He was like, I want you there. I need you there. You would be a perfect fit. Male, takes me over to that department and, you know, sets it up for me perfectly. And then I faced A wall.
The gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She was intimidated and threatened.
Very hard. Yeah.
Well, as a father, it pains me to see what you're going through each individually. But I also want you to understand that you guys are strong enough, smart enough, intelligent enough that if they don't accept you, that closed door, that no is one step closer to where your path should be. And they're not lucky enough or they shouldn't have you. And more importantly, and that should make you stronger internally, the more no's is the path to a yes, and the yes is the right direction. So just take that with some strength, use that as a learning lesson and tackling fuel going forward internally.
Definitely. And I'll add too, because I just want to point out that I feel like there are areas in society that have made a lot of progress. And I feel very fortunate that this was my experience in college, because I know that it's not everyone's. But going into finance, it's definitely a male-dominated business. And all my classes were mostly male. Like, I was definitely the minority. But I feel like in this industry now, it's honestly easier to be a woman, because every firm is wanting to have female advisors. They're wanting to have more females in the industry. So it's definitely cool to see that this industry has at least changed a lot.
Very true. So now that we've talked about everything we talked about today, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I find that a lot of the time where wealthy is different than having money, where you can be wealthy in other areas. So I think some advice I would give to my younger self would be you can find wealth in other areas where as far as our family goes, we're very wealthy in our family life and who we have and our connections and our relationships. And so I find that I would just tell myself to be appreciative of the wealth that we do have.
One advice that I would give to my younger self is there are going to be so many people telling you no. And the best thing to do is just push past and keep going, because you can do whatever you put your mind to.
One bit of advice that I would give my younger self definitely is when I played soccer, we practiced with the boys team, and one of the coaches was the father of one of the sons on the boys team. And he definitely put a lot of his effort and focus on the boys team rather than the girls team. And we would just be running laps around during practice while he focused on them. The advice I would give to myself is just to stick with what you love, regardless of who's affecting it or in charge. For instance, it was the coach. And just stick with it no matter like people around you, what they're saying and how they're affecting your view on the sport. I wish I definitely sticked with it longer than I did.
So like we do every episode, we have inspirational quotes, and Madison's going to lay some on us right now.
Yes, our first quote is from Claire Booth Luce. The quote is, "A woman's best protection is a little money of her own." The next quote is by Billie Eilish, and it's, "In the public eye, girls and women with strong perspectives are hated. If you're a girl with an opinion, people just hate you. There are still people who are afraid of successful women, and that's so lame." The next quote is by Candace Bushnell, and it is, "Women with money and women in power are two uncomfortable ideas in our society." The next is Coco Chanel. "There are people who have money and there are people who are rich." By Lucio Ball. "Love yourself first and everything else falls into line."
She's really good at that.
I was like, oh, I forgot already.
Well, we had a great in-studio conversation today. It was awesome to have my girls here. Madison, I think we learned a lot, and I think we maybe had some nice little bits of wisdom here and there as well.
Definitely. Very wise Schein girls.
Very good.
Be sure to tune in to episode 6. We're going to have another exciting guest that you won't want to miss.
Thanks for watching.
Guys.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Perfect.
This podcast is brought to you by David Field Producer. It is produced and directed by David Field and Kristen George. And it's mix, edit, and socials by Kristen George. Ashleigh Schein Wealth Management is a group of investment professionals registered with Hightower Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with Hightower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through Hightower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through Hightower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Ashleigh Schein Wealth Management and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This document was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Ashleigh Schein Wealth Management and do not represent those of Hightower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates.